everyone. I'm walking to my nearby natural grocery store. It's cold out here. And I'm thinking about greeting rituals. I thought a lot about this because in the U.S., we don't have as formal greeting rituals as they do in so many other countries. Like, we don't know, sometimes we handshake and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we give a hug and sometimes we don't. And it's not really clear all the time what we should do. And so I've thought a lot, sorry, I gotta put my gloves on because it is cold out here. I've thought a lot about how to do this with my kids and how people should do this with their children. Because I also felt like I wasn't so seen as a kid in terms of, you know, you get in the car after a day at school and it's like, do you even get a hi, or like how much are you talked to and so forth. And so I just really have been adamant and intentional, more so intentional, about greeting rituals. I walk this way. It's cold. And so, and really all I've really done is each time that I greet, so every time my children, I don't do it when they walk in the room, right? But I do acknowledge them when they walk in a room, for sure. And when they go to school and, hi. When they go to school and come home, or when they leave, you know, something like that, where they've been gone for the day, I I've always hugged my kids and say something, and look in their eyes and say something like, it's so nice to see you. Some way to, like, I am acknowledging their existence and I'm seeing who they are. That's kind of what is important to me. And I will say that as, so what I've seen, which I love, is that my kids expect it from me now, right? Now they do it to me as teenagers, except they do go through phases of, don't touch me, get away from me. And that's okay. Like, I have to respect that, but I will still stand there and I will still, it's so nice to see you, sweetheart, and give them a warm welcome. Like, I stop whatever I'm doing and I don't ask a bunch of questions. Like, that's a common thing that we do in the U.S. as well. But like, how was your day? What happened? What happened with this? Like, I really, before I maybe ask a question, I give a long pause. Like, I give them time to relax into my home, relax into my heart, right? And allow their heart to just relax. Hi, Brandy. And so giving my kids this kind of time is really incredible. And I've just seen over the years how it's helped develop this process of, like, they know their neurobiology, which is, if you don't know me, I'm always talking about neurobiology. Like, as a parenting consultant, this is critical. And so I look at how do patterns affect a child's neurobiology. And so as I've created these greeting rituals and departure rituals, hi Alfonso. So when they leave, there's always a moment of connection. There's always looking in their eyes. There's always either a hug if they can accept it, because my kids are teens, and then a goodbye that is just warm and welcoming. And so as I've done that over the years, they ask me for it. And once, like, this was a while ago, I brought my daughter to a parents' night out thing. And it was like a couple years ago. And I dropped her off with a bunch of friends. And then she came over and hugged me and kissed me at the place where we had to separate. And the security guard said to me, wow. It's like, this was the only child who hugged their parent. The only single one of the hundreds that were there that night. And so anyway, I just encourage you to think about, especially if your kids are young, but regardless, you can start this at any time. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants to be witnessed. We all do. And so giving that moment of witnessing and acknowledging our children every single time we see them and greet them from a departure, and every time they leave us is such a beautiful thing to offer our kids, and for them to have that experience of, this is what it feels like to be seen. This is what it feels like to be witnessed. Like, this is a beautiful gift we give our kids. And so this is something unique, I think, in American culture, and I just encourage you to think about how you can create intention around those greetings and the departures with your children, because it is an important time for them to come into our arms, to be embraced by us, right? And then to be released by us as well. Like, how incredibly important is that in their cycle of life, to have that warmly done and warmly released, and to know that the feeling that they'll always have is that that's what they get from their parent, from their mother or their father, who's ever doing it. So I encourage you to have some intention around that. Like, you might think of your own ideas of how to do it, but I just wanted to give you some ideas around how important that is to our children, and how you can really create an environment where, so the idea that I have in my head all the time, I want to create an environment where when my child comes to me, they give me their heart, right? Like, that is not an easy thing to do, especially in a transition. So can I make it warm enough? Can I make it beautiful enough in my environment and welcoming enough in my environment that my child can give me their heart? It's not going to work every time, but if you can imagine that happens over 18 years, 20 years or whatever, what a beautiful relationship to have. What a beautiful experience to have. What a beautiful way it's going to affect their body and their sense of being seen and their sense of being acknowledged and cared for. So I so appreciate you coming today, and Sterling, you probably might need to watch the replay, the beginning of it maybe, but I love your comments, and give me love if your hearts and thumbs ups are always helpful too, to know if you're tracking me and or if I'm just some insane mom giving my ideas. And I love your comments as well. So blessings on you, and may you have a beautiful, amazing day. All right, bye-bye.